Hello and welcome everyone to episode 36 of Weekend Rental. We are your favorite bi-weekly gaming and geek culture podcast. You can find us on Google Play and iTunes. Go ahead and leave us a review on either place. Really helps spread the word. We appreciate it. Hey, and if you want to leave a comment, you can find us on Twitter at Weekend Rental PC or shoot us an email, weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. And you can always find everything Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com. That was a mouthful. My name is Ryan, and as always, I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And Nate.
What's going on, guys?
All right. Buy, rent, burn time. System of choice this time is the original Game Boy. For anyone not familiar, we each pick a game for a given system, obviously the Game Boy. We'll play them all individually and then decide which ones we would personally buy, rent, or burn. Andy's pick this time around is Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2. And Nate has gone with Alleyway, and I have selected Radar Mission. So let's go back up to the top. We're going to hear a little bit about Andy's game, Crazy Castle 2. So the description, Bugs is back in the palm of your hand, and here's What's Up, Doc. Nasty Witch Hazel has nabbed Honey Bunny from the party in the castle and locked her away. This time you'll have to hunt through 25 huge multi-level rooms to help Bugs rescue his main squeeze, but watch out, your search for potions, carrots, and incredible devices will be stymied by Looney Tunes characters lurking in every corridor. Bringing Bugs and Honey back together is a greater challenge than ever in Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2. I had to expand, hence the pause at the more. Sorry.
That couldn't even fit the back of a Game Boy box.
I don't think I've ever seen
that description
stymied written down before. This is the first time I've read stymied.
I saw the hesitation.
Like, I nailed it.
Oh my gosh.
So right off the bat, this game really bothered me because there was a girl rabbit that Bugs is like trying to save. And it's like, there's nothing in the Looney Tunes lore, at least at that point, where there was like a woman rabbit.
It didn't happen until Tiny Toons, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
Tiny Toons and then Space Jam had the
other
yeah,
right.
Space Jam.
Yes.
But anytime before that, if there was a woman bunny, it was Bugs Bunny dressed up as a woman, so...
Well, that's true. He was kind of, that's right. He was quite the cross-dresser, wasn't he?
Yeah. So that was a little strange right away. And then I started digging deeper. And
go deeper.
This Crazy Castle series is some of the most bizarre things I've seen in gaming.
Oh yeah, like the train wreck and the lineage and the sequels and variations. Like it goes between characters and it makes no sense. I can't remember where I saw a video on it, but it was like, what in the hell? Yeah,
so I kind of want to go through this just right away to just go through this craziness. So the first one is on the NES in Japan called Roger Rabbit. We got Bugs Bunny, so it must be like a sprite rip, basically. These are all sprite rips or whatever. And then on the Game Boy, they got Mickey Mouse and Mickey Mouse 2. Mm-hmm. Mickey Mouse 2 is the Bugs Bunny 2 that we played.
So what was the Bugs Bunny 1 that we played on the NES then?
That's Roger Rabbit.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Mickey Mouse 3 was on the NES, and that came out as Kid Clown over here.
Well, which is really uncommon, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep,
I think so.
Mickey Mouse 4 came to the Game Boy in 93, and over here it was the real Ghostbusters, and in the PAL regions it was Garfield.
Oh my gosh.
Mickey Mouse 5 came to the Game Boy in 93, and that was the first one that was Mickey Mouse here.
Wow.
Bugs Bunny.
But it's the same gameplay throughout, right? Just like doors and simple traps and collecting keys.
I believe so, yeah. It's pretty much all the same. Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 3 That was the first one in Japan, and they just went right to 3. And
Makes sense.
that's what ours was. Then they had Bugs Bunny 4 in 2000. Then in 2002...
Why after 2000 are there more of these?
No. 2002, Woody Woodpecker, Crazy Castle number 5. For the Game Boy Advance.
If you've fallen down to Woody Woodpecker,
gosh.
like that is the bottom of the barrel there.
This is...
Does it continue, or is
That's
that
it. Yeah, there was a mobile game. It was just called Crazy Castle in 2004, but that's it.
Oh my gosh, they really milked that franchise a little bit.
Just throw
that makes
anybody
no
in there.
sense. Like, we'll just design this generic like puzzler that you can slap any license on. Like, it's kind of like the beauty behind it, right?
Yeah. I was just surprised, like, they do more than just the main character, though. I mean, a lot of the enemies in here are Looney Tune enemies as well, or Looney Tune characters.
Yeah,
So
there's
they do some
Yosemite
work there.
Sam and the coyote, I noticed right off the bat.
Yeah.
The weapons are very Looney Tunes, too. Bombs.
Who's the giant rooster? That's going to
Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Come on, Nate.
All I thought the whole time I was playing the game, the first level, I just couldn't stop thinking about KFC. That I don't know what the correlation was, but that's all I thought. I was like, isn't he a KFC character? You know, the one that plays in the
He
bucket.
should be, yeah.
So, gosh,
He probably
Yeah.
would taste good in Colonel's secret, formula batter. So
it's true.
Yeah, so the game itself is kind of a puzzle game. It's kind of a platformer. There's some enemies that you get weapons to kill them, and you just go around finding keys in doorways, and
Mhm.
it reminds me a lot of like Chips Challenge and those type of games where you're going around to different areas grabbing keys for another place.
Yeah, for sure.
There's definitely some risk reward. You know, how far do you want to get close to an enemy before you run back up the ladder, and
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of makes it a little bit interesting. I actually don't mind games like this, because again, it's that risk reward. You want to see how far you can get, or how close you can get to the enemy before you have to jets. And I don't know, those games don't bug me. You kind of just sit and mindlessly play them, and before you know it, many levels have passed by. I'm surprised that there's 25 levels
28
in this. 28 levels in that.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine there being that many variants to make it a little bit different.
They didn't
I'm
change
sure
it
it's
up
just
too much.
wider and like more keys, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of. I don't know. Like I played the original more on the Nintendo as a kid, but to me this feels more at home on a portable, because like it's that type of game, right? Like you're gonna play a couple levels, you're gonna get a password, you're gonna put it away, because you're not gonna sit there and play this for hours on end. I mean, unless you really hate yourself. But I mean, everything about it is, like you said, the character designs, the sprites look good, even though they're just palette swaps between the 110 games in the series that we covered. And the music's fine too, right? Like there's nothing special about it, but there's also nothing bad. Like you said, Nate was saying you can just pop it in and putz around, risk reward, grab some keys, run away. It's fine. I actually like it better than Chips Challenge. I'm gonna say that.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, there's more there's less kind of experimentation in this. At least you know what's going to come out of it a lot of times. But the thing is, like, and it's not fair to this game, but like if you want to play this style of game, like that Donkey Kong 94 is like the perfect adaptation of this type of game,
Yep. Yeah, that's a great point. That like takes the gameplay and then adds like legitimate fun on it, where this is just kind of like I mean, it works, right?
Yeah.
But like at that Donkey Kong 94 state, it's like, this is amazing. It's just subtle tweaks to add more depth.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so we're going to talk about Alleyway. This is Nate's pick again. So the description on this one, interstellar ping pong with a deadly energy ball. Your spaceship is at the gate of Alleyway. Use your vessel to repel the energy ball. Atomize space grids with your return shots. Destroy the entire field and move On to even more challenging targets. You're in command in alleyway.
I feel like I didn't play that game.
Yeah, I played Breakout. I don't know about you guys.
What the heck?
You know what's
I
funny
played
is
Breakout.
the only reason I even knew that was a spaceship in this game because I remember seeing this arcade cabinet as a kid and like the side art. You're like, oh, it's a spaceship. But on the Game Boy, it's like, this is a block. And those are other blocks.
Huh.
Oh. Yeah, this game is definitely like a breakthrough clone.
Yep.
It's so, I don't know. It's not that great.
It's a bad
really
version.
isn't. I mean, you get through level 1 and it moves very, very slow. Especially if you have one block that you need to hit and the ball is not even getting close to it. Yeah. It's just going in a giant rectangle.
E-rectangle or rectangle?
E-rectangle.
You pronounce that funny, Nate. Come on, let's keep it.
You've never heard of a E-rectangle?
If it lasts longer than 4 hours.
Call your doctor.
Yeah, so the second levels, then things start changing where the level scrolls or, whatever. It's pretty generic, but the number one thing that bugged me was there's no background music whatsoever. You just hear this ball hitting these bricks. I don't know, it's bad. It's not great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like Arkanoid and Breakout and that sort of stuff, but like honestly, like the generic shareware like brick game on like IMAX back in the day was better than this.
I feel like I had it on my cell phone in like 2000.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah. That was even better.
And I will say like the problem with this game is I played a good amount of this as a kid. I borrowed it from a buddy. And this game on the original Game Boy, when you factor in the screen blur and no backlighting, it's almost impossible to play this game. And then like you're a kid, so of course your Game Boy screen is like looks like a fucking cat had a party on it. So like making out this ball and like you'd have to like just stick your finger in the air, gauge like well, where's the sun at right now? Like I got this window from like 2 p.m. to like 2:15 where I can play this game, and it's horrible. And like you said, like getting down that last brick every time. It's like, well, the first 5 minutes of this were great. Now I guess I'll sit here for 20 while this eventually knocks down, I guess. I don't know.
I didn't even want to put it in you said Arkanoid. I didn't even want to put it in that category because Arkanoid's not that bad.
Arkanoid's good, yeah.
Yeah.
This just plays incredibly slow. And like on the actual hardware that it's supposed to be played on, visually it's a mess. It's just...
They couldn't make the E-rectangle look like a spaceship?
Well, it's got those two ends on it. Those are the windows, didn't you know?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't even get that.
The thing that made me the most angry about this game is how they paraded Mario out for no real reason at all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep. I think, like, if you get to some point in the game, or maybe this is another version, like the arcade version I'm thinking of, like, he actually, like, hops in or hops out of the bar. Like, I know I've seen this animation somewhere, but...
Yeah, he did it in the first level for me. He walks across the screen and jumps right into the bar. Yeah.
Yes. Yep, okay.
Is he on
That's where I saw
box art or anything?
I think he might be in the ship. I can't remember.
It makes more sense now that it's a spaceship, because I'm just thinking it's just a paddle and he like jumped into it. I'm like, well, that's really dumb.
Well, but does it make more sense that you're in a spaceship slapping balls off of interdimensional gates? Because I don't know that it really helps.
I don't know. Isn't that what, Breakout was too?
That's true.
Spaceships? Like the guys...
Yeah, you're not wrong. And actually, Arkanoid, like the later versions, that's the lore behind it. It might even be in the early versions. I don't know. It's a weird genre.
There's a lot of bricks in space that we need to get rid of.
It's a real problem. Real problem. I think like the only thing you can do with this one is just look at it and be like, this was virtually like a launch title, so I guess it was good for the time. I don't know. But when you had Tetris, why would you play this?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Third final pick, my pick, Radar Mission. This thing has a longer description than I would have ever anticipated for what is essentially a battleship clone. So you select the battleground. Will it be underwater submarine warfare or surface ship-to-ship action? Volunteer for submarine duty and lead a fleet into action. Use sophisticated sonar to track the enemy motion from under the sea. Then surface and use your periscope for 3D view of enemy ships on the horizon. Fire torpedoes and guns to destroy your opponent. Lead the fleet to victory, but watch out for damaging hits to your vessel. For a guided missile battle, try the surface... I can't believe this is still going on. Try the surface naval action. 2 squadrons of battleships each face off for a radar-directed ship-to-ship conflict. Pinpoint each enemy vessel and fire. Find and sink the opponent's ship before they find yours. My gosh! That is way too much wording for this.
They make it sound so awesome.
So... Here's essentially what this game is it's got 2 modes, mode A, mode B. Mode A is literally just battleship. I don't know how they didn't get sued for this. Apparently nobody cared back then because it is straight battleship.
Mm-hmm.
The only one thing that's interesting is like your aircraft carrier, yours or the opponent. I can't remember if you can both do it, but you can like, if it survives unscathed long enough, you launch a jet, which is cool. And then you have like a 1-hit target that moves. And then me, as a kid, I actually owned this game and owned it for about 3 months before I realized that game mode B wasn't like I assumed it was in every other game and just a variation. It's in fact a completely different game. And that game, I think, is pretty awesome. Basically, like it flips the game on its head and you are now in the submarine, kind of like a third person over the shoulder view of the sub, and you have to take out the fleet kind of on the water, and then there's tactics to it, right? Like you can dive down in the water, you'll cruise at faster speeds, you can pop up, take out the ships, attack the other sub. So it's either you have to force victory by eliminating all the enemy fleet minus the submarine, or you can take out the enemy sub, which I did as a kid, and for the life of me, I have no idea how I pulled that off, because every time I tried it here, I got raped brutally. So yeah, that's Radar Mission. And I will say that the music, at least on the game mode B, I think is far better than it has any right to be.
I wish they would have named that different because I didn't try that. I just assumed that was like multiplayer.
I explicitly told you guys to play the B game. Come on. Nate?
Yeah.
I like it.
Did you play B?
Heck no. I played A. Where did you send the message on B?
I don't remember that.
I literally said when we picked it, I'm like, have to play the game mode B also, because there's 2 games on here.
Oh, I don't remember
Go
that.
back. It's really cool. Go back. It's cool.
Okay.
I try to picture these games. So obviously I'm playing them on my computer and they look pretty crisp, pretty clean. So I try to picture these, what they actually look like on a Game Boy. Cause this game looks sweet. Like it has like a little cutscene with the missile flying over when you play in the battleship mode.
Yeah.
Those things looks really good. Can you attest to that on an actual Game Boy, or did it look awful?
Yeah, I mean, it looked fine from what I remember. Like, I know for sure, like, those animations are slightly blurred just because, like, everything was on the original Game Boy, but yeah, I do remember it looking, like, pretty clean for a game.
Yeah. Yeah, the music was great. Visuals were good. I was expecting something awesome, so I should have played Section B, but...
And I wouldn't go so far as to say that's awesome, but I would say, like, it's an interesting bonus game, I guess, that kind of makes it a better package than just Battleship.
Right.
It's crushingly hard, though, Game Mode B, I will say. Like, I don't know how I did so good at that as a kid. I could only win on practice mode.
Huh.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, now I feel bad because I was assuming it was just, a different version, like a link cable battleship or something.
Well, like I said, I did too. I mean, I got this as a gift as a kid and owned it for months before I discovered it. And like, I could look at the back of the box. I'm like, I've never seen that. What is this? And then like, I think one day I was thumbing through the manual because like, why would you thumb through the manual? I know how to play Battleship. And then I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? And then like that like completely consumed me. And I got really into Game Mode B. Like not that it's great, but like finding a bonus game within a game that you thought was like one thing was a very nice surprise.
Did you say we could? You could link it with the link cable.
Yeah, you could.
I thought it was
I never
optional,
met anyone else who owned this
You couldn't
game
find your
for
player
good
too?
reason. No, like I think this was like a budget title from the get-go almost.
See Ryan walking around the neighborhood with
With a
one
cord
Game
in
Boy
hand.
and the cord just dangling around.
Radar mission? Radar mission?
Anybody?
It's hard enough to find someone to play Tetris with because everybody lost their damn link cables. All right, let's go back up to the top with this list and just give our picks. I'll start off with Andy. What do you think?
For my buy, I think I'm gonna go with Bugs Bunny. I kind of enjoy that game, just the relaxed nature of it. It's overly not really hard, I would say, if you find the weapons that they want you to right away and use them in the right spot. It's more of a puzzle than escaping sometimes.
I know it's not hard, but would you refer to it as a rectangle?
No, that's coming up.
Oh, okay.
Is it coming up?
Bugs Bunny is just foreplay. And the other two were kind of like a flip a coin for me. But now that you said how awesome Game B is, that's got to be my rent.
It's acceptable. I don't want to set expectations too high here.
Yeah, I like Battleship too. It's fine. It's just
it's Battleship, right?
It's a little long. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's okay. It's got some animation, so it's one step above electronic Battleship, right? Except
right.
They probably legally can't say you sunk my battleship. So,
dang it. But you can scream it every time it happens. So there's that.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, and my burn's gonna be Alleyway. I don't know. That it didn't feel very good. Like the way it bounced off things, it just seemed like it was,
This is out of context gold already,
oh, yeah.
I'm telling you. Sorry.
That's what I do. Just make it harder for you to focus. And then you're like, oh, I have to timestamp this whole damn podcast. I don't know. It was okay. It's just, I don't know.
It's like the worst version of that game, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't think I've played a different version that was not... I can't think of a single instance that was worse than this one.
When that, like, mechanical magnet Pong game that's been around feels better than this game, that's a problem.
Yeah. When it was perfected 20 years before this game existed.
Yep.
All right, Nate, what about you?
Yeah, all three games were... I definitely didn't expect puzzle games out of them all. Even with the titles, like Alleyway, I was like, this is a bowling game. This could be interesting on a Game Boy. It's not a bowling game. So my buy is definitely going to be Bugs Bunny and Crazy Castle 2. Again, that's one that I kind of like, that risk reward type gameplay, and definitely Radar Mission as my rent. But I got to go back and play the B side. What is it called? Section B, B side.
I think it's just game mode B. It's like
game mode.
I think it's like mode A and mode B, or game A and game
All
B.
right, yeah.
It's super generic.
Yeah, so I got to go back because that could potentially change my pick. But for now, Radar Mission, and then Burn Alleyway for sure, because it's not a bowling game. And you're playing with the rectangle.
Rectangles for the win. Yeah, I'm obviously going to Burn Alleyway too. It's a game that should be a lot more fun, but it's too slow. It's too tedious. Everything's too tiny, pixelated on that screen. I just can't recommend it. I debated on which way to go on this. I think I'm going to go with buy of Radar Mission, only because like it does hold the two distinct games. But even like owning it as a kid, like I'm not that nostalgic for it, so like it couldn't have been that great, right? Like I don't have like super fond memories other than like discovering I had two games on this cartridge that I owned forever. And then Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle I would rent. Like I don't mind those games; they're fun. I like I said, I played the one on the NES quite a bit. I just never really loved the game, but it's a good pick up and play. So That's what I'll do.
I just feel really disappointed that I learned that there was a Garfield one of this game.
And you were robbed of
after
this?
we went through this. Yes, I could have brought that game instead.
Well, there's always next time. We'll just each pick one of the Crazy Castle games that, like, from a different region and just do a whole Crazy Castle episode. It'll be awesome.
They're all the same game
Yeah,
with the sprite
just
rips.
sprite swaps. It's fine.
Well, I like these sprites better.
All right. Well, there we go. Another Byron Byrne in the books.
Man your battle stations.
Man your battle stations.
It's electronic talking battleship from Milton Bradley. So real, it really talks.
Battleship armed.
Battleship armed.
We're talking instant programming, free skill levels, and only Milton Bradley's got 'em.
Carrier hit.
Carrier hit.
Against the computer or opponent, your mission, sink the enemy's fleet.
Battleship sunk.
Battleship sunk.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Electronic talking battleship and original battleship, only from Milton Bradley.
All right. So let's dive right into the meat of the podcast. Let's kick things off with maybe some Black Friday deals, things that are out there. So as of recording, it is Tuesday, November 20th. We are just 2 days away from Thanksgiving with Black Friday. Well, I suppose starting at Thanksgiving Day now, but it used to be Friday up until the USA decided that we'd rather spend money than treat people to a vacation. But
They're just going to move
Anyway.
it to Wednesday too. So
yeah, and I love that they had to move it up with the advent of online shopping, which makes absolutely no sense. There's less reason than ever to like open a store on Thursday, but
Unless
Mini
you hate
rant-
your family.
that's true, and lots of us do. That's not me. That was a joke. So Black Friday deals. Have you guys seen anything good? I don't know if anybody else is cool enough. I assume most of the nation is cool enough to get the early access invite from Best Buy to like buy all their deals like 3 days ahead of time. But I did some shopping already, so
did you?
yeah.
What do you pick
They had-
up?
They had a bunch of all their video games and stuff were on sale. So I splurged for a whopping $15. I have Shaq Fu 2 for the Switch coming, arriving tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Yep. It seemed like such a train wreck that for $15 I had to just check it out. And then I bought Starlink for the Switch, the pack with like starter pack with Star Fox and everything, because that is $35 instead of $70.
Yeah, that's
And
not
I was
bad.
like, I was
a good
interested
deal.
anyway. Plus, you know, it'll probably like realistically, it's probably going to be $5 at Target in another month, but whatever. So that's
do you
what I
want
got.
to? Do you want to just play the game, or do you want to get into the ships and stuff like that?
I have no desire to get into the ships. I just kind of want to play a little bit and check out the Star Fox stuff, and then I'm kind of
Yeah.
done with it. I don't expect great things out of it, but I hear it's like, meh, it's pretty all right, you know.
Mhm.
They had plenty of other good deals. I just nothing really jumped out at me right now. Like I've got enough stuff on the backlog that I didn't need to go nuts. So I just bought, you know, terrible games instead. So
If you're in the market for a console, there's a lot of good prices on
Yes.
some of those and bundles. I think what is it, the Nintendo Switch with pack in game
Mario Kart
for $2.99? Is that right?
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah,
So
so that's
$50
That's
bucks
not too
off
bad.
plus a free game. Yeah, that is a good deal.
that's a fairly decent deal. And I think PlayStation and Xbox, they have anything going on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
remember.
they're down to like I think you can get a PS4 with Spider-Man for like $199. So
That's a
really
pretty good deal.
Is it 250 or 1 terabyte?
1 terabyte.
That's a really good deal.
And then I'm sure there are deals on Microsoft Xbox Ones. I don't care enough to look. So, but I'm sure they're about
What
the
is-
same price.
I think the
What's
X
the
is
regular price on the Pros?
Pros.
Pro
I think
is
400.
four.
Or not the Xbox, what was it? Xbox X or whatever it is.
Yes.
S.
I think that's 250. Am I
250.
wrong?
Yeah.
Or three?
Okay.
No, maybe it's 300. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
It goes down to 200 this time of year. It seems like.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is like the PSVR bundles are all being $100 off, and they're all
Mhm.
bundled with like really good games. And if I could justify it, I would buy it. Like I really looked at a couple of those bundles, and I was like, man. But then I already, you know, bought my.
You should just do it.
My arcade one up. No, I bought that arcade one up. I'm
No,
sticking with my
return it to
purchase.
Walmart.
Nobody wants that back. Are you kidding me? Come on.
Just dropped 50% of value.
Yes. Hey, I mean, it allowed me to brush up on my joust skills so that when I went to the barcade, I quickly captured that top slot. So, bragging. Humble brag. I'm sure they power
Sure.
it down every day, but I was there at like 6, so that's pretty good.
For the whole day, yeah.
It's true.
That's when bars really pack is 6 p.m.,
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of looked through all those Best Buy deals and nothing really caught my, something I needed to have. I'm kind of in the same boat. I just have so much other stuff to play that I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get God of War, but it's still not quite cheap enough. I'm looking for that $20 mark, but
Yeah, which is unusual because like every other one of those God of War games went from like retail to like 20 in like a month.
yeah.
Like this one, I guess like maybe it's because it was a slow like major game year. That one is hanging in there.
Yeah.
I may still get that PSVR bundle because like they're
Which
gonna
one?
offer like, well, I want the one that comes with like that new game, the robot one or whatever, but that doesn't come with the controllers. So I would need the one that comes with the
Oh.
controllers, which is like $250, I think. Because I'm pretty sure Best Buy is gonna do like some stupidly insane like 8 years no interest financing on your Best Buy card, which like I always look at that. It's like it's free. It doesn't cost me anything. I'll just
Sure.
pay $10 a month for whatever. I don't know. Just it's tempting. I probably won't.
Do it.
I probably
Just
won't.
do it.
I don't know.
I don't
think
need it.
I think it's hitting its stride as a major thing. Like it's worth owning, I think, at this point.
I agree that
here-
I thought it was at that point last year when you bought it, but now for sure.
Yeah. I played that
So many
Astrobot.
people are talking about it.
Yeah. I played that Astrobot demo, and that game
That's
is
great.
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It's just like really smooth, and you can't hardly you can't hardly tell you're in VR. A lot of times those VR games kind of make you a little woozy, but that one not so much. And I did pick up Tetris Effect, which is a whole
Very
nother
good.
level. So that's
Yeah.
definitely worth it. That's almost worth it right there if you're really into trippy stuff. If you want to be on
Yeah.
drugs without taking drugs type of thing.
How about I be on drugs while playing it? So it's like I'm on drugs while I'm on drugs.
Oh man.
I don't know how well you'd play Tetris at that point, but
I don't know where to get drugs. I'm just a lame, nerdy guy with a family in a game room in his basement. So if anyone knows, you've got our email address, I guess.
those are the guys that like sell you oregano and like, here you go.
Don't worry, we sprayed some Raid on it first. You're gonna contact that. Oh god. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like there were a lot of good hardware deals, but like I'm at saturation with that. Like in the games, there was stuff I wanted, but nothing I needed. The only thing I would like to find is like I'm in desperate need of a new game room LCD because mine is like very deficient at like moving textures and blurring. So if I could find something like 42 inch for like 120 or less, I would probably do it. But we'll see. A lot of those good deals are doorbusters.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go out of my way to like fight crowds for any
True.
of that.
Do you even go out on Friday?
We'll go out usually like in the morning after the rush has kind of died down.
Things kind of settle down.
Yeah, and I think this year we might just go like last year late at night, like well not even late, like 8-9 p.m. we went to Walmart and just bought like the movies and stuff. So maybe we'll
Yep.
do that again this year, but yeah.
I tend to avoid it. They might be good deals, but I just hate dealing with the crowds and the people and parking lots, and so they can have their deals and I'll pay full price. 'cause
Well, and it's
I'm
all
that guy.
online now, right? Like you can just get up Friday
Right.
morning and like click. That's what I've done for the most part the last 3 years.
Yeah.
It's so much more convenient. But the funny thing is now is like Friday, it seems like is a non-event because everything's open on Thursday for doorbusters. So like the psychos, they're gone. Like nobody's really shopping on Friday, which is kind of bizarre. So
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure certain stores, yes, but like the big box ones, nobody cares.
And like,
Yeah, I haven't looked at any ads for anything that I need or want. I probably could pick up some PS4 games on the cheap, maybe. But again, I'm in the same boat. I have too much stuff right now to play, and really no desire to pick up anything.
And we've all got Christmas gifts to buy for our kids, so
Yep.
Ugh.
December will be expensive enough. We don't need to tack on November, that's for sure.
Yes, very true.
Yep.
You guys been playing anything new or?
I've been playing Wolfenstein: The New Order,
Oh.
so
How you
which
liking
is
that?
probably I like it. I'm not one for the first-person shooter. It's kind of a weird thing for me, so I'm kind of getting used to it. I went from Song of the Deep to this game.
To killing Nazis? It's quite the turnaround.
Definitely the turnaround, yeah, for sure. But I'm enjoying it. It looks great. Again, I don't know what year Wolfenstein came out.
2014?
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I'm blown away by stuff like that. When I was, even when I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, you're like, yeah, it's welcome to 2017 or 16 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, these
And
games blow my mind, just the way they look. So
when you go from that one to Doom too, you'll be amazed at like what they did from that game to Doom, because like it was a big progression.
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
I think that was going to be my next jump. It was either Doom or Diablo I was going to jump into next.
Oh boy, they're both good.
Pick one for me.
Well, it depends on what you want to do. Diablo is way better with people,
Yeah.
but Doom is just so like viscerally like satisfying. Like there's just something.
Yeah. I think you
I
could
don't know.
play like a couple hours of Doom and get it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like
Well, you could-
it's
How many hours of Wolfenstein do I have?
I never got more than like 4 hours in. I think it's like a 10-hour game, maybe.
yeah,
Not even.
it's about 10 hours, yeah. If that, 8.
Probably longer for me. It took me forever to, like, the very first mission when you're jumping out of the plane onto
Yeah.
another plane. I kept on dying over and over again. I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing. And it has the little command. I couldn't read what letter on the joystick or what I was supposed to be pushing, and I finally got it. That pushed down the L3 button, but
Yeah. I struggled with that scripted intro too, so you're not alone.
okay, good. I felt like a complete turd afterwards.
I also
And
died
I'm playing on easy.
Yeah.
So
I died a bunch like just after that too. We have to like scale up the side of that like fortress. I don't know why,
Yes.
but like I struggled with that. I like literally repeated it like a half a dozen times. I'm just
okay, good.
not coordinated, I guess. So
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It looks good, plays good. Song of the Deep was awesome. I think I was telling you about that
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and good story and just a simple sit down and play game.
it's so funny because like when that came out, like all the reviews were like, the controls are like super floaty and awkward. I'm like, I'm in a submarine. Like this,
Underwater.
the physics feel appropriate. Like I don't know what you guys are
Yeah.
talking about. Like I didn't have any problems with it. Yeah, I thought it was a really cool like Metroidvania, Blaster Master-ish kind of game.
Yeah, interesting.
It's cool. I picked up that SNK 40th anniversary collection.
Oh,
About
I'm
for
jealous.
Oh,
Switch.
is it good?
Oh my gosh, like Frank Cifaldi is obviously the producer on this again, but like it is the like video game equivalent of like a historical archive. Like they've thought of everything. Like so the weird thing is like I bought it. I'm like, cool, it's gonna be like all my favorite SNK games, and like it's kind of not, but I'm not mad about it, right? Because it's like the earliest games. It's like Guerrilla War, it's Vanguard, which oh my god, I hadn't played Vanguard since the Atari 2600. It's Akari Warriors, it's
That's-
Athena, it's Crystalis. And then there's like, I think there's 13 games on there to start, and there's gonna be like another 10 that are DLC for free in December. And every game, if it has a console and a arcade port, has both. You can do everything vertical or horizontal on the screen layout. So if you want to play it like arcade perfect shooter, you can do that. And then everything also within that has a region switch if it's applicable. So you can play like
Wow.
the English version or you can play the Japanese version.
That's awesome.
And then the historical archives, like the little slideshows they put together on the history and like lost documents, and like it is so cool. Like it is, there's just so much history in there. Yeah, I'm having a blast with it. Like it's so weird because it's not at all the game set I thought I was getting, but like I've really dove into like these ones. Like I'd never played Ikari Warriors 3. Like I didn't know that was a really weird looking beat 'em up that kind of sucks, but I played through it all now. And like I don't know, it's just in Vanguard, like man, what a game Vanguard was. Like I totally forgot. I didn't even know that was SNK. Like
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah. I cannot recommend
How many
it enough.
games are on there?
13 to start, and I think there's 11 more that come
11 more. Okay.
and Time Soldiers is one of them.
Oh.
And like the best part is like, okay, like so every home port of like Ikari Warriors and Guerrilla Warriors was, and Time Soldiers, which we've played on the podcast, was hampered because they didn't have that weird octagonal control stick. Well, like they fix it, right? Because you have 2 joysticks now. It's a dual stick shooter. Like you can actually play these games actually even better than they were in the arcade, arguably.
Yeah.
So
that would be amazing.
I'm so jazzed for Time Soldiers. Like I freaking love that game. So I
What was
can't
the
wait.
price on it?
$39.99. And I would
Nice.
say it's worth it, especially I would say it's worth it with the history piece and then the game set now, but then also knowing that I'm getting these extra games is really cool. It's like everything he accomplished with the Mega Man collections and then so much more. Like it's an active like historical preservation that is also a game you can play. It's so great.
Awesome.
Love it.
Speaking of him, have you seen his Twitter account lately?
No, what's going on?
He's been buying all these like plug and plays
Okay.
that are NESs. All the games on them are just NES games. Like, it's crazy. If you can figure out how to dump them off, you'd be able to play them right on an NES.
Really?
And they're all like card games and weird shit like that, like licensed stuff. It's all like
I've never heard of it.
yeah, they're an NES, mini NES in these plug and plays.
So it's like
It's
an NES,
crazy.
like the NES on a chip sort of setup and like
Yeah.
full of ROMs and ready to go.
Yeah, so all this stuff is like, I mean, they made all these games that essentially would work on an NES if you got, put them on
But they
a
didn't
card.
like. So is that kind of like some of the stuff I get in those weird multi cards where it's like mow the lawn and like
Probably. It's a
Bubble
lot of that
Pop
stuff,
and-
probably.
yeah, that's still cool that he's like archiving it and weird.
Mhm.
So how good is Tetris Effect then, Andy? Is it all you're playing or?
It's not all I'm playing, but it is something else. I played all the way through it in like a day.
Wow.
So
Oh my gosh.
got all the levels pretty much unlocked. Once you unlock all of them, then you do you can just go in and watch the backgrounds. It's like don't even have to play Tetris at that point. You just wig out on whatever you're watching. But some of them are
Do drugs
just
while you're doing
crazy.
drugs.
Yep, exactly.
And the music's really good too, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's
phenomenal.
like every time you turn a piece or you get a line or something, it changes the music or it makes a sound. So like as you turn the line, you're making the music too. Like you can make the beat by turning the pieces around. So
Cool.
it's pretty cool. Especially if you get headphones in, just really get into it.
Did they fix indefinite spin or is that still a thing?
It's not indefinite, but you can go for a while. You can spin it probably 20 times, if that. Something like that. But it's a lot.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of modes in there. A lot of them geared more for like being hyper competitive with it. And that's not something I'm
How
there
are you
for.
competitive in a VR? I mean, there's no multiplayer, or is there online multiplayer?
I guess not competitive, but I mean like really serious about Tetris, where I'm just
okay,
there
gotcha.
to kind of just like zone out in it, you know?
Right.
They are going to make it competitive.
Right. Yeah. It's like
Well, that's true.
there's a lot of hard things in there, and then if you're really like focused on that, I feel like all the backgrounds and stuff are just getting in the way. The music's getting in the way, you know?
Nice.
But yeah. The other game I've been playing is Spider-Man. Finally picked that up and been going through that, and that's been a blast too. It's like the first, maybe not the first. Batman's pretty good, but this
I wish the price would have dropped on it. Then I'll pick it up.
yeah, I'm sure it will
Haven't
at
seen
some
it drop
point.
yet.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if there's any sales, but yeah, it really makes you feel like Spider-Man. I mean, that's one of the first games that I actually feel like they did everything and more of what Spider-Man is, you know?
Cool.
Yep. A lot of good combat system in it too. You guys ever play the Batman games?
Part of the first one.
Okay.
I appreciated what was there. It just was like, it gets repetitive so quick, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
Do you feel, now that you've played Spider-Man, do you feel like it captures that like superhero thing? Like that's my biggest complaint with any like superhero game, that they just can't capture. I don't know. They limit the superhero where you have to get like so much web or you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You run out of web and stuff, and that's just odd to me.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in combat, you do have like a certain amount of web that you can web people up in. That's one thing. But like when you're out in the world and swinging around, it feels like Spider-Man would, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think they do a lot of justice for him there. However, it isn't a pretty like standard open world game. Like the story's pretty good. But I don't know. There's a lot of like, oh, there's 20 pigeons on the map that you have to go catch the pigeon, you know? And it's like, it's a lot of that stuff. There's different things on the map that you have to get, and they're all pretty much the same thing. Whereas, you know, Red Dead was a lot different. Everything was different. I don't think and Zelda, there's not a lot you can go back to these old style open world games where it's like a fixed event.
Fetch quest.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah. They just get old after a while.
But most of them, I assume, are optional, right? Like main story is kind of separate from that.
Yeah, they all tie into upgrades and stuff like that, you know.
Sure. Gotta catch those pigeons and sell them to like a high class restaurant.
Yeah. Stanley is in it though. So it might be the last thing he's in. Who knows?
I heard he filmed a bunch of cameos in anticipation of his passing, so I guess like they're gonna have him in a bunch of movies.
Oh, that's even creepier.
It's a little weird.
It is.
And then after that, are they going to start doing the whole all that stuff that they've been doing with Star Wars and putting computer dead people in their movies?
Oh boy, let's hope they don't go down that route. Yeah, the internet was really kind of bogged down by that. That was kind of impressive. I don't know that anyone else could have died in the United States that would have gotten more publicity, which is weird.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
Not that he didn't do some amazing stuff, but also it's like, dude was 95. Like, he seemed pretty with it, like watching his interviews and stuff even the last year, like up till the end. So
yeah,
he
had a
didn't
good
look
run.
95.
No, that's true. I mean, I went to pegged him for that.
No.
Upper 70s, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed to like always be with it.
Yeah. And all that movies, and his best cameo is still Mallrats.
I don't know. I liked the Teen Titans Go movie. Go to the movies one too.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Where he's in there and he jumps in and he's like, "It's time for my cameo." He's like, "Oh," they're like, "This is." He's like, "Oh wait, this is a DC movie." He like walks off screen. Then he comes back. He's like, "Never mind, Excelsior." And then, like it's so dumb.
That's pretty funny. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. That guy, like, man, just what he made off of cameos in the last 15 years of his life.
Yeah,
or 20. Because I mean, I guess he started with the first Spider-Man reboot, right? Like those were like pretty consistent, and then he was consistent from there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, like you said, Mallrats, but
yeah, that doesn't quite count. But
he was on like Big Bang Theory. TV show multiple times.
Sure.
They stalked him in the one, didn't they? Like showed up at his house and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is funny because I've seen
So
all
you
of like
said
10
he
episodes of that
cameos.
show, but I remember that distinctly for some reason.
Just the reruns on TBS over and over and over again.
It just filters into your subconscious. You can't help it.
Yeah. You've seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
You just wake up in the middle of the night yelling Bazinga.
That's what I yell right after I finish. My wife loves it.
E-rectangle.
Rectangle. We got it.
Bazinga!
Bazinga. Oh. So I guess if we're talking about Spider-Man, that's a good transition to Sony's announcement that they will no longer be at, or they won't be at E3 for the first time in the show's existence. So, which was like a big buzz, but like I don't feel like anyone was that surprised because it seems like E3 the last few years, especially since they've like started selling public tickets, has like obviously been on the decline. Like, because you exist in a digital world, right? Like where you don't need to fly a bunch of people out to a really expensive convention center and have them look at crap that you could just live stream. Like Nintendo's had it figured out with the Nintendo Directs for years now.
But the thing is, Nintendo's still there. They still have like a booth and all that
the
stuff.
Treehouse Live.
Where
Right.
Sony's just non-existent. Sounds like anyway.
But I think like after seeing how much the internet loved the sheer disappointment of BlizzCon, maybe they've made the right choice.
Yeah.
Because it's probably better not to show than to achieve like some sort of false hype that people are somehow entitled to. I don't get.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, last year was weird, obviously. They only showed like 3 or 4 games at their whole press conference, so.
We're in a church, here's some lesbians. Like, okay, this is weird. Like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, and like
zombies.
And like a couple of those games are going to be their big games for next year. And who knows if they'll be out by the time E3 rolls around. So like, what are they going to do? Parade those out again, you know? So I get it.
I was really looking forward to like Weird Flute Man again or whatever that was that he was playing. That was riveting.
Do you really think with, PlayStation's track record anyways that E3 is beneficial to them in any way? I mean, they could do the same thing with a commercial, a TV commercial or, like you said, a live stream of some sort.
Yeah.
Like a direct. And I think they would still have an amazing following, without the E3.
Well, the strange thing is they did the past few years, they did their own event, like last month.
Adjacent. Yeah. It's like
the PSX or whatever, the PlayStation experience, but they canceled it this year.
Right.
Because they didn't have really anything to show. So it's like, I'm not sure what's going on. If they're not even doing their own show, they're not doing the big show, what are they doing? I don't know.
I think they're probably just ramping up for the PlayStation 5 and they literally have nothing to show because everything that's going to launch in the last leg of the PS4's life cycle has been shown 3 times. And, at this point, like they're on top of the market in a way that they haven't been since like the PS2. Like there were years where like it made sense for them to show up, but like they'll easily topple this generation without being there. Like during the PS3 era, like when they were like trying to make that relevant somehow, which they managed to after 8 years, but then it made sense, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think E3 in general is going down.
Yeah, they got to be shitting bricks now that, they're selling tickets to this thing and like some of their biggest, the biggest guy just left pretty much. So.
Yeah.
I think Xbox will follow suit and it'll just be Nintendo sitting by themselves.
Could be. I wonder if it has something to do with like the new consoles where Sony doesn't want to be the day after Microsoft does all their console announcements or something at E3. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
If they don't know what's going on, they want some time to be able to react, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who announces first on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it will be Sony trying to get a leg up. Since it seems like they're leaking plenty of like hardware information lately anyway through devs, but
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
yeah.
Did you see that Xbox One next year coming out with no disk drive?
Makes sense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I do
Especially-
remember reading something about it.
Yeah, especially on that platform where it's literally just an install key. I mean, there's no.
Right.
I mean, they're all like that to some. I mean, PlayStation does that too, but like that's the machine, right? Like that was all it was ever intended to be. Nothing ever ran off a disc on that. They just like, our bad. We'll flip the switch. So
Even like
Yeah,
the
you can-
backwards compatibility stuff is just a key to say like, oh yeah, you own this. We'll let you
Yeah.
download it.
right, that's true. It doesn't even install off the disc. Yeah, I guess that like that's a good prep, and like I think the last 2 years has like been a major shift in the overall population where majority people would rather just do digital at this point. Because I mean, where are you going to go? Like retail stores, like the space is a tenth of what it was at the beginning of the previous generation for games. Like I don't want to go into a GameStop. I wouldn't be able to find a game beneath all the tchotchkes and plushies anyway. So speaking of
right.
that, did you guys see that clip of that guy who freaked out in a GameStop because
Oh,
he wanted
yeah.
to return Fallout 76 and just they wouldn't return it, obviously. So they only offered him in-store credit, and then he just like frickin' like line drives through like all the displays and like rips it apart, kicks everything, and just walks out. And the best part is like
Oh my gosh.
some guy had just walked in the door, and it's like another customer like filming it on his phone, and this guy just like fucking Godzilla pushes past that guy, walks to the door, and then the other guy's just standing there, and he looks at the guy with the camera. He's just like just this weird like. I don't know.
I
like,
did not see that.
It is like a minute and a half, and it is just ridiculous. And like the best part is like, dude, they have your ID. Like you were just getting quoted on like all.
Yeah.
The, like I know you're in the system now. You're on video. It was great.
My favorite part
There's
was
a-
right at the end. Somebody calls, and the guy behind the counter says, GameStop, or you can save blah 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 blah. Like,
Not
just
even
like,
phased.
yeah, the perfect script line. It's like, wow.
Well, it probably happens like every other week. So
I've seen quite a few videos of guys freaking out in GameStop for whatever reason. Yeah, so that's just probably like a regular occurrence for them, and they just happened to catch it on video.
yeah,
It's
It was
probably part
just-
of like a new employee training. Like you sit in a back room and watch these guys just freaking out.
yeah. That's like
Can
the
you deal with
secret
this?
shopper script
You're
for
hired.
GameStop. Like you don't actually try to complete the transaction. You just demolish the store and then just see how they react in stressful situations. Like, oh
That's
yeah,
awesome.
like he got an A rating on that. He handled that perfectly.
That's
Promote
why-
that kid.
That's why all the discs don't have their original cases, because the cases break all the time.
great. The guy's just bending them and breaking them. I have to see this video. You'll have to send it to me.
Yeah,
or is it
I'll
pretty
find it.
accessible?
You know, it was just the other day I found it. It's great. I'll look it up here in a bit. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Sounds like that game is not going over well though.
No.
And
Are
I'm
you-
kind of a big fan of Fallout, and I have zero interest in it. So
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. I'm surprised you didn't pick it up.
yeah. So I'm wondering how many people are like me too, where they just didn't even bother buying it. And the people that did aren't that happy with it.
Right. I feel like people who are like super into Fallout weren't craving like an online only game. Like that's not the market, right?
Yeah, you don't buy Bethesda games for that, for sure.
Yeah, I've heard nothing positive either, and like you can kind of tell like there must be some major issues with it when like pretty much every major outlet is like, we're gonna do the review in progress route, and like this is gonna take a couple weeks, and we'll revisit in a month or two, and
Oh, really? Just to
Yeah.
make sure, like, let them patch it?
right. But like I did go on to Metacritic the day of launch, and like the user score was like 0.03 or something at the time. Like it was bad. Or maybe,
Ouch.
well, I don't know if they can do decimals, but it was like low. It was like 1 or 2. Like no review is good. But then again, it's hard to tell because you always get those a-holes who are like, that game is not Fallout, blah, 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 blah. I give it a 0. I'm like, you didn't buy it. Why are you reviewing it? Like, that's
Even the critic score is a 49 right now.
oofta.
Yeah.
That is not good.
So
for
besides the online only, are you hearing other things? What people hate about it?
A lot of it is that there's, Fallout games have such a rich story and a lot of characters and stuff like that. You can talk to a whole bunch of people. And this is like empty. There's like, you can talk to a few robots that give you quests and that's about it. Everybody else
supposed to force you then to like find your story through interactions with people.
Right, exactly.
Like other players, I guess.
Right. It's kind of like the Diablo thing. It's just reading the room wrong. You're reading your fans wrong, I think.
Right.
The people
Or
that
where
play
this
Fallout.
might have been like a really good like game mode for the next mainline installment. Like if this had launched as like Fallout 5 online, like Red Dead and Red Dead Online, like that
Sure.
might be a nice companion piece, but
Yeah.
draw some extra revenue out of like your main title.
Right, exactly. But if that's the main selling point, then you're just kind of milking it from the fans that like the franchise, I think.
And it's built off the Fallout 4 engine, right? So like it's
Yeah.
fairly dated at this point too.
Yeah. Well, all those are really dated most of the time because they're so
Wow, that's
buggy.
true.
So Ryan sent me a link because I don't have Facebook, and he said, "Hey, here's a good deal on a Virtual Boy." Because I feel like a few episodes ago we were talking about the Virtual Boy and how I'd really want one. I've been wanting one for a long time, and this one was in the box and came with Mario Tennis.
Yeah, I think that was the pack in.
Yeah, so I picked it up. So Ryan was pretty generous and let me snag that.
It was.
And,
I really hesitated for a second before I pasted that link, but I'm like, I really don't need 3, and Nate really wants one, so I'm gonna send this and make everybody happy.
I'm thankful. It's awesome. It looks great. It plays pretty good. I haven't noticed really any lens issues.
When you have you closed the eyes individually?
No.
So what might be happening, because he mentioned like the lens issue, what might be happening is only one of the eyes is displaying for you. Like, does it look 3D-ish or not really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've only played a Virtual Boy one other time,
Yeah.
and it looked like that.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I got it for $80, which I thought was a good deal.
Well, they were only asking 100 to begin with, which was already a good deal. So
For
80 is
boxed,
very good.
especially. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks really awesome. I'm happy. I'm not going to play it. My wife hasn't even played it, and she was all excited about it. And she hasn't even played it yet.
The best part of owning a Virtual Boy is just looking at it on the shelf. I mean, to be quite honest, that's where it belongs, and it's a good thing to have on a shelf because people are like, "What the fuck is that?" And you're like, "Oh, you haven't heard? It's a Virtual
Let me
Boy."
tell you about this wonder.
That's why they made a stand for it.
Right.
Exactly. They knew ahead of time.
Like,
No one's
this is going to
play
look
this.
good on a shelf. Let's put a stand in there. Yeah, I have mine proudly displayed on top of my arcade cabinet now next to my Power Glove. It looks pretty badass. Maybe we should...
Yeah, that's something I've been wanting in my collection for a long time, so I'm happy to have it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you finally got one.
Yeah, definitely. Found some retro games this weekend too, which was kind of fun. I was traveling for a wedding. Yeah, a small town in Minnesota. Wilmer? Does that sound right? Wilmer?
Yeah, that sounds like a town.
Yeah, it sounds like a town in Minnesota. And there was, there really isn't like a lot of retro stores there. Actually, I don't think there are any. And I didn't see a lot of pawn shops or anything like that. So I was walking around the mall. We had some time to kill, and the kids were running all over the place. And I was just kind of sitting in front of this like sports memorabilia shop. And I looked over and I was like, in the way corner, it looks like there's some like gray cartridges, and I figured they were probably like baseball card stuff. And that's all they sold. And I walk in, and sure enough, he had a few NES games. And I was like, that's really, really weird. So I picked up a couple of those. And the most refreshing thing on that whole trip was I went to a Goodwill and found some NES games too.
Wow.
That was pretty sweet.
That doesn't
You
happen.
don't see those ever. And they were all priced at $2.99. So
Nice.
I picked up a few, and it was exciting to actually see them in a thrift store. I haven't seen NES games in a thrift store in a long time. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty legit. I feel like
Yeah.
I've given up, so I don't even look. It's amazing though, that
Yeah.
feeling when you walk in nowadays and see that. So like the
I
retro
crap my pants.
or not the retro store, but the sporting goods store, did he flat rate or was it like individual prices?
They were individual price, but good price. I can't remember. I picked up Totally Rad. It might have been like $12, which I thought was an okay price. I think that's typically around like a $20 game. So yeah, it was surprising. Again, not where you expect any games to be. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I had some stuff from my collection that I just decided to try to sell." And I was
Cool.
like,
Nice.
"Sweet." So that was kind of a fun trip for me, just to see some stuff in the wild again,
Very nice.
which is rare.
Hmm.
Now we need to see it locally, though.
Well, we got that, event coming up with that amazing flyer that just the most brilliant graphic artist put together. So more on that.
Tell me more, Ryan.
It's too soon. It's too soon.
Too soon?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I haven't like been hunting at all, but like I spent last weekend redoing my game room. I guess not redoing, but like rearranging. So I got my arcade one up down here, which I put on a set of like, those like cube storage things with like the little hamper basket that
Yeah.
like they're everywhere, college dorms, my basement for some reason. So I used a couple of those and I put them too deep, and that works like perfect height for the cabinet. Plus I've got like massive storage under there now. And then I just got sick of like the clutter around my couch. So I built like this surround around my couch to like hide all my stuff. Cause I got my couch jacked up on stilts essentially to put controllers and crap underneath it. And then built an extra row of shelves behind my couch now. So like I boxed up like a lot of my miscellaneous box. Like most of my system stuff got put away except for 2 of my NES boxes and then my Super Nintendo and that Atari 2600 one I got from Nate. And now it looks sweet. Like I got like nothing's double stacked. Like every game is on a shelf. For the time
Nice.
being, I'm still at like 95% capacity. So I have to grow carefully.
The amiibos didn't move?
No, and that was the thing is like I like them displayed there, so they're gonna be there as long as I can keep them there.
Nice.
And yeah, like I built the shelves like super cheap. I just bought like some treated, primed trim. So it was like $5 for an 8-foot board of trim. I just bought 4 of those, and like it's perfect for holding like Switch games and jewel cases. So it's awesome.
Perfect.
So I'll have to get off my lazy ass, make a video at some point about my game room, or not. We'll see.
You should.
It's been so long. I don't know if I can get back into the routine.
I'll watch it.
Thank you. It means a lot.
You're welcome.
That means a
And
lot.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
No.
What about a comment, Andy?
I prefer thumbs down and negative comments only, please. This is the internet after all. I don't want it to come off inauthentic or
I have never hit a thumbs down in my life, so you're not getting it from me.
No.
No, me neither.
I'm too positive because I know how much time it takes just to make a simple video.
Yes.
So I'm like, awesome job. You did
Yeah,
great.
People are quick to hit the thumbs down when like the simple solution is just watch something else. Like it's free. Like you didn't pay for this video that you found online, so
Right.
You know how hard it is to be like that offensive to be like, I can't stand this. I can't believe you tricked me into watching this. Thumbs down.
Yes.
I can't do it.
I found the Fat Retarded Man Child channel. That was like my...
Didn't you get that as a
I
comment?
did, and I was like, you found me! Like, thanks! I think that's literally what I put, was like, you found me, thanks for watching. Internet. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's more news happening out in the world, more like gaming stuff going on, but it's that time of year where like everything's happening so fast that I don't know that I have anything else. Do you guys?
No, not really.
I was reading something about virtual reality, but I don't have a lot of facts on it. So, like doctors are prescribing it, but I can't find it now.
Huh.
It
Seems
was
like that
on
makes
my
sense.
Top list. Yeah, I couldn't remember what the purpose was. I wish I.
Is it drug withdrawal? You play Tetris Effect?
Tetris Effect. Or you wean yourself down from like PTSD through like I suppose you could do that, right? Like,
Yeah.
like kind of acclimate yourself to like more noise. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm not going to pretend like I know what causes that, but it just seems like cars backfiring. I mean, again, I'm not going to pretend, but from some people I've been around that are a little jumpy.
The doctor prescribes video games and virtual reality rehab.
Dang.
So amid the country's growing substance abuse crisis last year, the FDA cleared Reset, a mobile app that tracks substance use, cravings, and social triggers to treat dependency on alcohol, cocaine, and cannabis. The FDA's clearance makes Reset one of the first prescription digital therapeutics. That's interesting.
Yeah, I can see how that would. I mean, it's always nice when video games can be used for practical things instead of comparing them to opium dens killing Korean youth. So, I'm all for that.
When you buy the world's best-selling jeans, you get good-fitting, great-looking heavy denim jeans, and you get some very impressive stitching on the back pockets. They cost around $14.50.
When you buy plain pockets from JCPenney, you get good-fitting, great-looking heavy denim jeans, and you get absolutely nothing on the back pockets. But they only cost $10.
No kidding. Plain pockets, only at JCPenney. The big difference between us and them is the pocket and the price.
Okay, moving on to the failbag, where we answer 20-year-old questions from old gaming magazines as if they were addressed to us. It's a very important service.
Critical, one might say.
Yes. Andrew Weber. He works for Gluco Games. He put a public service announcement in this EGM number 168. He said, here's some info for all those diabetic Game Boy Advance players out there. A new Game Boy Advance is being developed that incorporates a blood sugar monitor. Every reading in your set range will earn points, which you can redeem for special promos, discounts, and games from Nintendo. It's called Gluco Boy. See glucogames.com for more info. Prototypes have already proven successful in lowering blood sugar because, well, everyone wants free stuff.
It's called vaporware because this didn't happen.
Are you sure? I thought it did.
Is there like prototypes of the like?
I think
really?
It actually came out.
Gluco Boy? I gotta Google this now.
I don't know about that. I feel like I've heard about the glucose monitor of some sort, but I don't remember anything called Gluco.
Oh my gosh! End gadget. Gluco Boy.
Is it a real
Gluco
thing?
Boy turns diabetes blood testing into a game. It's riveting. Yeah, it's a thing. I guess there's a kid
I'm
playing
going to eat
it.
a whole bunch of little Debbies, and then we're going to see what happens.
Wow, this is nuts. Yeah. So
Apparently it's incredibly rare and really sought after, too.
2005-ish it came out. Yeah. That
Really?
was nuts.
Interesting.
Small market. Paul Weasel invented it, so you can trust him, Weasel.
It looks like
launched in Australia on World Diabetes Day. That seems like a day that maybe shouldn't be celebrated. I don't know.
And it's an attachment.
You could
it's not
have
a new
two
Right.
toy.
extremes.
Right.
On National Diabetes Day, there's a group of people that are fasting, and the other group is sitting at Dunkin' Donuts having a good old time. We got to celebrate the one day.
And then they meet up and drink each other's blood and swap,
Oh my gosh.
even out the sugar levels. Fine, maybe they don't have to drink it. It could be IVs. We'll just blood transfer.
Just took it to a dark place.
Yeah, sorry. I don't mean to make light of diabetes. It's crazy.
And then we're gonna drink the blood.
I just can't believe that something like this existed. I guess it's cool for kids, but wow. I mean, have diabetes. I mean, it's not cool that they have diabetes. Man, this is a hard topic to talk about without sounding like an asshole, but yeah. So it looks like a cartridge that attached to your Game Boy Advance, essentially. Huh.
I'll be an asshole. How come diabetes patients get free games from Nintendo and I don't?
Well,
I better start eating a lot more sugar.
They have pre-diabetes testing. Like, just find out if you're there and just push on forward.
Where's my games, Nintendo?
All candy for me.
Did it ever hit the U.S. market?
That I didn't see on there. I'm sure some of them infiltrated, but seems like something you would get only if you were like a patient of someone who like frequented because it's not like you're going to go to Toys R Us and see that, right? I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty inventive use of the technology.
It was probably sold at CVS instead of Toys R Us.
Nice.
There is none of them on eBay right now.
Yeah, I was looking as well.
Like my must-have accessory. Yes.
I typed it in, and a whole bunch of white powder showed up.
Oh boy, that you just stay away from that. That's when you click back and just never again.
Since when can you buy white powder on eBay?
Are you on the dark web? Mystery powder, $5.
Oh, that was freebay.com. Oops.
This guy's got amazing feedback. Okay, here's a terrible idea if you want to hear it.
I do.
Yes.
I was just watching Baywatch a few hours ago.
That's a good call.
And I got a killer idea for a game. Baywatch. Picture it. You could play as David Hasselhoff. Well, okay.
No, that's not who I would choose to play as.
You could play as...
Stop picturing now.
CJ. It's obviously CJ you play as.
You could play as David Hasselhoff, Pamela Anderson, Nicole Eggert, Yasmin Bluth, Alexandra Paul, and whoever else starred in it. Well, you named more than I could have. So. In David Hasselhoff's levels, say he could save drowning victims, try to escape a crazy woman he once loved, and end up hugging his son and all that.
Oh my gosh. Sounds riveting.
Just like in the series. Pamela's levels could be TNA or something. I don't know.
Running towards the camera in slow motion. Gold star.
In all pixelated glory.
Yep.
You could drive around the city like Grand Theft Auto, go to the beach and save swimmers, or build up passionate relationships with other people. Hell, this thing could be online. I'm not crazy. You know you want a Baywatch game.
Hey, remember that episode of Baywatch where they just drove around the city? It sounds like a perfect game mode. Hey, here's an idea for Baywatch. Let's leave the bay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We should be watching the beach. Nah, they're okay.
It's okay.
Well, I hope it gets released for PSVR.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go.
Slow-mo camera running mode only.
We would see an increase in accidents on the PSVR.
I mean, this guy kind of got his wish, though, didn't he? Because wasn't there that VIP game for the PlayStation?
Yeah.
That starred Pamela Anderson, so that's about as good as you're going to get.
Unless he was like really into the Hasselhoff idea, I don't...
It seemed like he was heavy on the Hoff. I'm not going to lie.
I'm typing Hasselhoff video game as we speak.
I just can't look at that man the same after watching the hamburger video and the Get in My Car music video.
Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is a game on the NES.
That is a
Yes.
game on the NES.
Apparently, he was in Call of Duty Zombies mode at one point.
Really?
What?
Yep.
Huh. Who knew?
And he was in Pain.
There's a playable character that you shot into the roof?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Pain was that PS3 like early online sensation game where you just essentially slingshot a character into a cityscape to see how much you could like destroy them.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was like a dude in a chicken costume or a cow costume. And you just like flung him at an electric neon sign. It was great.
Yeah, that must have been it. He must have been able to launch him then.
So you could sling the Hoff. I like it. It seems appropriate.
Yeah. And the SpongeBob SquarePants movie for Game Boy Advance. He's in
Nice.
that.
Yeah, just hang tight. Don't get excited about a video game, but know that a remake movie is coming out
Yeah.
in 2016 or whatever it is.
Just wait until YouTube is invented, and then about 2015, just go on there and hit the search bar and search David Hasselhoff, Get in My Car, and just loop that endlessly. It's so weird that he's like a German pop sensation.
Like, yeah,
Is it weird?
I mean, kinda, right? Like, he hasn't been relevant for like 20 years here, and they still.
I always
love
thought
him.
that was fake until I met a German foreign exchange student, and they verified that the Hoff is the man.
They're like, "Oh yes,"
and I was like, "This is a lie," and they're like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "What?"
Oh, that's so bad. We've corrupted their culture.
and like not ironically either. That's the worst part.
Do you think when David gets bored and sad in the United States, he just takes a flight over to Germany and
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
gets a boost again? And he's like,
Right.
"I am the man. That's right."
Has a wiener schnitzel. He comes back home. He's good for like 2 weeks.
I need to find that country for me. There's got to be like some really poor country where I could be the man right now.
Uganda.
Just fly out to the Philippines. It'll work out. That guy.
I want to be somebody.
That guy with the $28 condo on YouTube seems like he's really living it up. Have you guys seen that video? Just this guy's
No.
like, I can't remember what the channel is. He calls himself like a travel vlogger, but he just seems like kind of like a POS like redneck dude who has no money, and so he like just lives down in the Philippines because it's cheap. But he's like, here's my $28 beachfront condo, and he like, here's a tour. It's like a 10-foot room, and then he's like, here's my bathroom. It's like a sink, and then there's a toilet that has no running water to it. And he's like, what you do is you fill this cup up, and then you dump it in the toilet. That's how you flush it. He's like, and the beach is right down there. And I'm like, dude, like, this ain't worth it. He's like, I'm right off the beach, beachfront condo. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like, I think the status meant a little bit too much to him.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm pretty sure he's drunk throughout that entire video. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, it's kind of amazing. So that could be you. That could be your country. I think.
Yeah.
The Philippines. You could probably swing for like $120. Imagine what you'd get. You might have a flushing toilet.
Yeah, that would be ideal, I guess.
Yeah.
You might have someone to fill that cup of water for you and dump it down.
Let's not dream too big. Let's
Would
not
you call
dream too
that-
big now.
Would you call that a deluxe shit?
That's a bidet. Someone just pours the water down your back.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so funny.
God, I hope we don't have any listeners in the Philippines. I'm positive we don't, but
I don't know.
we've just offended an entire nation.
Or they think we're hilarious, and now we are superheroes over there.
We're the Hasselhoffs of the Philippines.
Yep.
We are the Hoffs.
We are the number one podcast of the Philippines.
In the Philippines. Dude, that's our tagline. Like, I'm getting ads made up tomorrow. Every billboard in town.
They're doing the national anthem of the Weekend Rental song.
We should tell Arthur. He's going to be so proud.
Yeah. Okay, this one relates to you, I think, Ryan.
Oh. Jaguar?
I'm not sure. No, you might have wrote this. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Dear EGM, I'm writing to vent my frustration. I purchased an N64 a few months ago. Mario 64 was great, though it got real old real quick. When I decided to get a second controller, I went to over 20 different stores and could not find one. Every store was sold out. So I figured I'd just get the games and worry about the 2-player action later. Yep, you guessed it, no games either. I went back to Toys R Us where I got the system, and they had the nerve to tell me that I was lucky enough to even get a system. Like it was some sort of privilege to own an N64. After several days of frustration, I just packed the system back up and fought tooth and nail with the manager until I got a full refund. I've had it. I hope the next person in line is happy with my system. With a little luck, games may be available for him or her by the time they get through Mario 64. Yeah, right.
Nice. I would have never written that because I would have never said Mario 64 is great, but I like that he is frustrated with the fact that it's difficult to find hardware peripherals and systems at launch of a console, because that's pretty much like every launch, right? But I guess did anyone experience this? Because I never went the 64 route. Like, I don't remember shortages.
No, I mean, I remember the frustration of the 64 getting delayed.
And it just sucking in general once it did come out. I mean, that was really frustrating.
I got mine through the JCPenney catalog, no problem.
Nice.
Wow.
You circle that?
I did.
Did you live...
That's pretty cool.
So, just jumping off that, like, my hometown had a JCPenney catalog store. So not only did you not use the catalog to order through the catalog, you took what you wanted from the catalog and went down, and there was a person in the store that had nothing in it that took your catalog order, and then you went down there and got your catalog item instead of having it shipped to your door conveniently for some reason. That was a thing.
So instead of calling yourself, you're like, can you order this for me? Yep, no problem.
Yes.
Is that a thing?
It was. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I mean...
That's
so
awful.
I should have gotten my 64 through the JCPenney catalog store.
Would you like it shipped to your home or the store? Yeah, the store sounds good.
I'm pretty sure it was always the store too. Like I distinctly remember like
no option.
No, I don't think so. I think you had to go to the store to get it. But then I think the benefit was like if it sucked, you could return it to the store, right? Instead of shipping.
Yeah, I suppose.
Good old days, Nintendo 64.
I love the JCPenney catalog.
Wasn't that the best? Like getting the catalog every year?
I would just sit and circle all day long.
Yeah, I got none of it, but I circled the shit out of a lot of stuff.
That's not a thing anymore, I'm pretty sure.
I remember I went so far one year as to cut everything out that I wanted and glue it to a piece of paper. I also got none of that, but I did that. That was a thing.
I'm pretty sure you had to pay for those catalogs.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they were free. I'm pretty sure you had to pay for the JCPenney catalog.
I mean, maybe.
I need to double check that. But
I know as a young boy, I looked at a lot of bras in those.
I'm glad you said that because I almost made that. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to be that guy. But I totally did that too. After I was done looking at the toys.
You cut the women out too on a separate piece of paper.
Son, what are you doing downstairs in the basement with the lights off looking at the JCPenney catalog? Nothing, Dad. Wow. This is what we had to resort to before the internet, children.
Yeah.
Boys turn to JCPenney catalogs. I don't know what the youth do today.
I'll order her.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. They were all like moms.
You could have put a cow's head on top of it, though. It was still like boobs and a bra, and we were like 8. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I love the side tangent this went down. I'm sorry. I led us horribly astray. 64. That's awesome. So I assume you bought a PlayStation and loved it, is the outcome there.
Maybe you bought a Saturn.
How pissed would you be if you're the guy who got the really used N64? It's not good.
I wonder how much that happens now today. Well, obviously, like your video with the guy trying to return Fallout, but
yeah,
is there a lot of people that still try and do that? I don't know.
Maybe over Black Friday, but like, I feel like returning electronics at all anymore is just a nightmare.
People know they know the rules at this point, I think. Right?
Yeah. Best Buy, I guess, takes stuff back pretty easily. Actually, Walmart does too.
Huh.
So I suppose it happens. I think somebody was telling me there was a Walmart in town that somebody bought. It was a PlayStation 4 box, and they brought it home, and there was like 2 bags of like, fish gravel. Like they had like put it in the foam to like make the weight feel about right.
Yep.
Yeah. So people are dicks.
Interesting.
Wow. This guy doesn't have a name, but his email address is vidgamer@usa.pipeline.com.
It was me.
If you want to get... That's before you added the J, right?
Yeah, it was before the J. The J days were like 20 and up. So.
He says, "Dear EGM, just a while back I was in electronics boutique." That's like JCPenney catalog days too.
Yep.
The
Unless
guys
you're in Canada.
Right, they're still around. The guys there were claiming that certain games were much better on the Saturn than they were on the PlayStation. They said that these games move faster and the graphics are smoother on the Saturn. They also said that the PlayStation really stinks when it comes to 2D games. My question is, should I trade in my PlayStation for a Saturn? If the Saturn is the more powerful system, why not? I want to own the stronger system. As I was told, the Saturn seems to be better at 2D and 3D.
Let me just tell you something about the guys working at EB. They lied to you. I mean, I guess the 2D
upselling.
Yeah, the 2D part was accurate because it was a 2D game console until they slapped an extra. But what cross comparison? What was better? Like, what multi-platform games were better on the Saturn? I can't even think. There was Tomb Raider, Resident Evil. I don't even know what else came out on both at the time.
I mean, there's a case for Virtua Fighter compared to Tekken, but not much, I don't think.
Yeah, by the time you get to like Tekken 3 and 2, it's like no comparison. I mean, like
the 2D was a comparison, though, right? Saturn had some pretty sweet 2D.
Oh yeah.
Well, they did, but like none of those were ever on the PlayStation because like PlayStation was very like Sony was very much about like we only want to push 3D games.
That's right.
So,
to some extent, they loosen that up later. Obviously,
gotta get them budget titles in there.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of go into. They talk about how, you know, if you're building games on the Saturn, you are using sprite processors. Whereas, like, PlayStation is a geometry engine. So, you know, one's built for 3D, the other one's built for 2D. So, if you want to do... If you're on the PlayStation, you want to build a 2D game, you kind of have to, you know, rig it together. And the Saturn has to do the same thing for 3D games.
Right. And then in an era where 3D gaming will become the standard, you should probably own the system that doesn't have to, like, fake its way to doing it. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a 3D like Saturn game and then compared it to anything on the PlayStation when I was like, this is the pinnacle of 1996 technology. Like even when people like when I first played Burning Rangers after people just hyped that up like Burning Rangers technical masterpiece, I'm like, I want to vomit looking at this game. Like the pop in, like the shading, it's bad.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. There are certain situations. I mean, thing is, like almost every 3D game on PlayStation has a similar look. Like it has like
it's got a grittiness.
A grittiness. The lines are a little weird. They kind of stray back and forth here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some developers are better.
Yeah.
If 989 did it, like the straight lines are like fucking zigzags, but
yeah. But I mean, you look at something like Daytona. I mean, the polygons aren't quite there, the backgrounds, and it doesn't scroll quite as nice as maybe a PlayStation would, but...
Right, but then I was just going to say, but then you get to Gran Turismo, and Daytona looks like
yeah, that's
barf.
true. Yeah, that's true.
So, like, maybe at the launch, when, like, the PlayStation devs were still trying to figure it out, like, I'm sure there were some arguments for the Saturn, but, I mean, after a year, I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, just the price point was so astronomical at launch.
Yeah, especially when 3D was the future, and that's what did it better. Oof.
Right. And then, the Saturn was not their future. So that didn't help.
Yeah.
So stick with your PlayStation, dum-dum.
In this very same magazine, like 2 questions later, this guy named Jerry says, I was in a Hills department store, which again, JCPenney.
Yep.
And they had a sign which said that the Sega Saturn has been discontinued and they would no longer be stocking this machine.
That was 3 months after launch.
Yeah, pretty much. It was basically they're talking about how that store just decided not to carry it anymore.
Good call.
So they're like, no, there's no problem. The Saturn is fine. It's like, oh, no, it's not.
Not quite.
There's a reason they weren't going to sell it anymore.
Well, yeah. And then like that last push they had with that console too of like, it's like $129 comes with 3 games. Sega! And it's just like, man, that is tempting, but you know that you're not gonna be able to like find games for that. Like even at that age, I remember being like, if I buy that, like that's it. Like,
yeah,
I'll never get more games.
That's when you got like Virtua Cop and Fighter and all that free with it. Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. Here's one that I wish I would have had Justin's input on. Mark says, I would like to start by saying that SOCOM US Navy SEALs has to be one of the best games ever for PlayStation 2. However, game enhancer cheat devices like Codebreaker, Action Replay, Game Shark are ruining the game. There's a code for the Codebreaker that allows players to respawn as a ghost after they die, so they're invisible but still able to kill others. Another code disables the ability of users to vote the cheater off the server, ruining the game for everyone else. SOCOM developer Zipper Interactive and Sony need to step in and kick these people off. If you are against cheating, please sign the petition at www.petitiononline.com/cheats, soc/petition.html, and help save SOCOM. I guess I'll go help that guy and sign his petition.
We should get on this. Let's take it to Twitter and get those signatures.
Yep.
Oh.
Retweet.
We need a hashtag for save SOCOM.
Hashtag save SOCOM. Yeah, I know Justin said that was the major issue. Although he was also a guy who owned a leg switch, so I don't know that he's clean in this. So I love SOCOM, but I'm gonna cheat also because everyone else does. So.
Well, that's the thing. You can't beat them; you join them. But
yeah, well,
I'm surprised that they don't like all those codes and stuff work online. Like that's all client side. That's weird.
And I think that was like the biggest problem with the PlayStation 2 era and their online network or lack thereof was like it was all
because it was point to point or whatever,
right? And it was all managed by the individual like development and publishers side, so like there was no overarching governance. You know, like Sony wasn't watching everything, and so
Yeah.
I think crap like that could easily happen because it was just so fractured. Like at least Xbox Live had like, you know, the one single sign on, and you could ban a gamer tag. Like there was none of that with PlayStation 2.
Yeah. I don't even know if PlayStation 2 has like a central server or if you're just connecting
Peer to
to
peer.
somebody else as a host. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
might be. I bet with that one they had servers somewhere because like SOCOM was big. Like people are doing that in tournaments and stuff,
Yeah.
which is weird because I never got into it. But I was like, that looks like something I don't need to play.
No, that was right off the bat. I was not interested in that game. But
No, I was pretty into Xbox Live and GameCube back then.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it is kind of interesting that this has not changed. I mean, every single multiplayer game still has cheating.
Right. Although I feel like the console ban at least like puts a monetary hurt on people. Like, because Microsoft's pretty good about like with that console no longer goes online now because you're a douche. Like, you know, back then it's like, oh, we disabled your like made up username. Just create a new one and come back. And at least now they can brick your console.
Yeah.
Well, not brick it, but keep it from
Well,
coming back online.
Well, then they just traded into GameStop and they're like,
That's true. Then they
And
just
then
get
the
a
next
gaming
guy.
PC.
yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how often that happens. Probably quite a bit, right? Because I can't imagine they test for that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how that works. This is kind of interesting. They have the top 5 original games of 1996.
Okay. Cross-platform?
Yep. Pretty much anything. Number 5 is Worms, which I didn't know came out in 96. I thought that was later. I guess that was 64, wasn't it? PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good game. Now it's like way overdone. Like everybody knows what Worms
I don't
is.
remember it at all. I mean, I remember playing it, but I don't even remember what it looked like.
It had worms.
Worms?
Worms.
That's not good.
I remember like watching somebody play it and thinking it was just like a Lemmings ripoff, but it's not. It's,
A little more tactical.
yeah. Number 4 is Psychic Detective. I've always meant to play that. It's like an FMV game.
Yeah, I
it's,
own disc 2 of 2 maybe for the 3DO. So
Oh, really?
if anybody's got disc 1 out there,
If you find that,
maybe it's 2 and 3.
We need to try that out because I've heard it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fantastic, like all the 3DO games.
Oh yeah, especially FMV. I love it.
Yes.
Number 3 is Blast Chamber, which I don't remember at all.
I remember that advertised heavily. I want to say it's like a room type, like it's a puzzle almost game, but like you're a dude in like a 3D room that like rotates. I don't know what happens, but yeah, I do recall that one. It's got the worst cover art.
Yeah.
Looks like a BMX guy without a bike, pretty much, like motocross helmet, and I don't know. I never knew what it was about, but I can't imagine that's the best game of '96.
No. Number 2 is Dragon Force, which is kind of influential. It's a beat 'em up, but it's like RPG beat 'em up. So
okay.
1 is Tecmo's Deception, which is kind of crazy game.
Love Tecmo's Deception, but I can't believe that's on this list.
Well, it's the most original, so I could definitely see that. Yeah.
Build traps to slaughter humans. Okay. It's a game. Yeah, there's something disturbingly satisfying about Tecmo's Deception.
Yeah. Huh. I think that's enough out of this magazine.
Whoa, it can't be enough. What about the link cable?
Which one?
You teased us with a Game Boy link cable.
Oh, no, that was the glucose thing. You're poking yourself with the Game Boy.
Oh, I thought it was.
I thought there was going to be like
different.
somebody sticking a cable in there, something that wasn't appropriate. Okay.
Woo-hoo.
It's disappointing.
No. Sorry.
Or not.
Depends what you're into. If you're into rectangles.
That is like the only gaming thing that you put in your body, though.
Well,
maybe the trans vibrator.
That probably depends on who you ask, but yeah.
I'm sure there are things that are not intended to be in someone's body that end up in
You
there.
ask any proctologist, and they can count on 2 hands how many Wii remotes they pull out of a anus, I bet. Probably can't even do it on 2 hands.
I would like to ask them if most of them have the rubber on them or not.
If you're gonna insert it, you have to put the Wii condom on. That's just, come on,
Okay.
man. Let's not get ridiculous. Of course you do. What do you think that was made for?
They have like in the break room, they have a little chart of Wii remotes and a chart of like dual shot controllers.
and then it's trade-in value at GameStop. Like they update it weekly. Like, we got to recoup the cost somehow. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I think the Move controller would be much more pleasurable.
Oh, that's true.
The what controller?
The Move controller.
Oh yeah.
The real piece de resistance is that like custom Resident Evil 4 controller for the GameCube and PS2.
Wow.
Maybe we should cut this off.
We did it. We found the worst controller to put in your body.
Yay!
Top 5 worst things to put in your body.
Only took 36 episodes. We're good.
After some rigorous testing, the scientists have decided these are the best controllers for your body.
Oh my gosh.
Can we do a YouTube video on that?
Yes, please.
The 5 best controllers for internal use.
Oh, well, hey, I bet nobody's tried it with the
gosh.
Pokeball yet. We got
That's true.
That is tailor made.
Excuse me, did your ass just say Pikachu?
I'm looking for a Squirtle.
Why do you need 5 Pokeballs, sir? Well, I'm gonna make a string out of them. You see. Then I'm gonna pull them out real slow. It's
6 is a full party.
Oh my gosh. I'm sadly looking at all my remote controls right now.
Like, nope, yes.
Oh. Yeah, we might have to revisit this because I don't think we've taken all into account, but
No. This should be a coffee table book. The history, like the generations of controllers that are best to insert into orifices.
Started with the Atari 2600.
Yeah, it's the perfect butt plug. It's already black.
yeah, I was gonna say that's the
It's
starter.
the beginner one. You know, it's kind of narrow. It's got the soft
kit.
rubber safety cord to pull it back out. Man, Atari really knew what they were doing.
Those are all the like factors. How long is the cable? Is it wireless? Is it gone forever? Or can we pull it back out?
And then Pro League, if
the
that
Wii remote has the strap.
Pro League for that generation was the Commodore 64 controller with that like big freaking knob on the top. Like you graduate up to that. You gotta earn your way to the top.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I don't know how we got here, but we should probably end.
I love it. I don't know either, but I love this. This is great. I'm sure it started with something I said. There's no way it didn't. Oh boy, yeah.
Man, that really changes things with the NES Advantage. That just changes the title.
NES Disadvantage.
I got turbo on this thing.
But it gives Quick Shot a whole new meaning, I guess.
Oh god.
Okay, Nate. Get us out of this hole, please.
I don't know if I can. Why did you say hole?
I don't know.
All right. Whew. All right. You can check us out on Twitter. Make sure you take a look at our YouTube channel. And you can always find all things Weekend Rental Podcast at weekendpodcast.com. And as always, be kind, rewind.
Bananas.
Banana.
Bananas.
I'm the one that prefers ASCII controllers.